If you hood educated, I'm glad you made it. Allow me to unfold my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from a hood brother's point of view to all of you here, there, and everywhere. Now check me out.
Shorty brought $1 million in the trenches, so fuck that.
Nobody ever did that. Nobody ever did that.
What you want? How's that? More good.
I don't know if you know what's going on, but this is $1 million worth of game. Lil Durk, Chirac, where we at, y'all? Tay-Town, and he brought Tay-Town, and he brought $1 million. $1 million
$40 million to the trenches, man. $4 million worth of game. So you know, from Chicago.
Get this whole.
Y'all see Lil Durk with all that money? Now, I need y'all to hold that in your mindset, right? Because we're going to get to that right there. I mean, it appears that here it is, a rich young brother. It's just flossing. You know what I'm saying? He's showing out. You know what I mean? He just got all this money and he just like, right? But the FBI is saying that it's more to the story. The FBI is saying that all that money that Lil Durk showed on $1 million worth of game and on the videos and he with his guys and stuff like that is the money that he paid for the killing of Stephon Mack. Now, y'all gotta walk with me. Let me bring y'all back a little bit. Remember, I was telling y'all in the last video about Stephon Mack and the murder of Stephon Mack. Now, 2 brothers got locked up for that murder. A brother who goes by the name of Anthony and another brother who goes by the name of Preston, right? These brothers got locked up and they are in a federal prison right now today for Stephon Mack's murder. Now, y'all might be saying to yourself, all right, hood educated, but how did they connect Durk to the Stephon Mack murder? Well, allow me to elaborate. According to the reports, right, after the murder of Stephon Mack, like I told y'all yesterday, them boys left their car. They jumped out the car, did the killing, the car door slammed and locked. So they had to leave, I'm talking about the steamer, the slide, they had to leave it. But the cold-blooded part about all that is that they left incriminating. I'm talking about a plethora of evidence inside the car. And that was their telephones. Yeah, them phones. The feds are saying that these guys were openly talking about the murder for hire hit of Stephon Mack in their phones. They said that these guys, and when I say they, I'm talking about the FBI, the feds. The feds said that these guys were speaking so openly that there is not a doubt in no one's mind who paid for the hit. These guys in their phone are saying, hey, look, Lil Durk this, Lil Durk that, OTF this, OTF that, right? And according to the reports, they saying that Lil Durk put 100,000 on the head of Stephon Mack. And look, we gotta understand something. The only way that the feds can understand something like this is through the phones or through people who are in the inner workings of the OTF enterprise. Now, while these guys is locked up, one of the brothers that got locked up for the murder of Stephon Mack, he just couldn't stop talking. the feds put a confidential, reliable informant in the cell with him. And while in the cell with him, he is discussing the case as if he talking about a walk in the park. He told the confidential, reliable informant everything, great details. Told the confidential, reliable informant that Durk paid him and his homie, to kill Stephon Mack. And the confidential, reliable informant did what he's supposed to do, because it is his job to get information from guys and then take it back to law enforcement. And that's what he did. And so once the confidential, reliable informant brought that information back to the feds, that's when they started digging deeper and deeper into the phones. And what they found inside the phones was incriminating evidence of them talking about getting paid from Lil Durk. Not only that, the same phones they used to check the towers. Where were the towers binging during the murder of Stephon Mack? Both of those guys that are locked up, their phones was binging right there. That was easy right there because they got the phones from the crime scene. But so now they saying, well, wait a minute. Are these guys really connected with Lil Durk, or are these guys just talking? Because you know, you got a lot of guys that get in them county jails, man, and they be telling you all type of stories. If you ever been to the county jail, you know what I'm talking about. You'll have a guy in there talking about, yeah, man, I had that new 2026 Rolls Royce thing. Hey, brother, can I get a shot of coffee from you, though? And you like, damn, you just had a 2026 Rolls Royce. Now you want a shot of coffee? Yeah, let me get a noodle about you. You know, so you got to be careful with that. So the feds started doing more research. And what they come to find out was, I'm talking about overwhelming evidence. Because they linked the killers to Lil Durk. They started looking at the phone towers. One of the killers that is locked up and convicted for killing Stephon Mack was at the studio with Lil Durk. His phone binging and Lil Durk phone binging in the same place. That's not good, because that shows the connection, right? But I know a lot of y'all might be saying, well, hey, Hood, just because they hang together, you know what I'm saying, that don't mean that somebody killed something, right? And I understand that right there. But see, when we get to start talking about the payment, that's something different. Because they didn't start talking about, hey, Durk, we need that money. They didn't start questioning people about getting paid until Stephon Mack was murdered. After Stephon Mack was murdered, then they started questioning Lil Durk, hey man, or asking somebody who was his go-to guy, which I believe is Vonnie, OTF Vonnie, right? They going to him and saying, hey man, listen, is Durk gonna pay us for the killing of Stephon Mack? And so Vonnie, or Co-Conspirator 8, told them, hey, be cool. Durk will be here on the 17th, right? And that's when Lil Durk did this demonstration right here. Check it out.
I don't know if you know what's going on, but this is $1 million worth of game. Lil Durk, Chirac, where we at, y'all? Tay-Town, and he Tay-Town, and he brought $1 million.
$40 million to the trenches, man. $4 million worth of game.
So you know
from Chicago.
He's on $1 million worth of game with $1 million. One of the guys who was asking for their payment for killing Stephon Mack was there too. And after the $1 million worth of game interview with Lil Durk, after the video shoot in the studio and all that old type of stuff, that same guy who was asking for his money posted this on Instagram. Check it out. So the feds are saying he got his payment. The feds are saying that, hey, this right here tells us the money that he was asking for, he got paid. Because in that, when him showing all the money, you can see that there's a verse for one of Lil Durk's songs. You see what I'm saying? Now, to us, on the outside looking in, we might say, you know what I'm saying, man? Durk could have just been bringing that money, just to floss, right? Durk could have been bringing that money to $1 million worth of game podcast, because the podcast is called $1 million worth of game, right? I mean, come on, we can easily, say stuff like that, right? Because it makes sense. But when you got them asking for money, right? The killers, not just anybody. This ain't his auntie, his cousin, his nephew asking for a couple dollars. These are the killers, right? These are the killers that killed Stephon Mack for the get back of Lil Durk's brother, D-Thing, asking for the money and talking about the bounty, talking about the hit, talking about where Stephon Mack is going to be at, how they going to do the killing and everything, right? So that right there changes things. You see, it don't, when you start looking at it like that, it don't appear to be, hey, look, check this out. It's a couple of his homies, asking for a couple dollars and he gave it to him and all. No, it looks different now because they talking about a murder and they talking about, look, we want to get paid for the murder we did. And Lil Durk, according to reports, paid them boys that money with that $1 million worth of game when he was on that interview. When he had all that money. The feds are saying he brought all that money to just start distributing money out to his killers, saying, hey, look, we want him dead. We need him dead. Y'all go over here and do this. You see what I'm saying? So listen, one thing we got to understand, and look, I want to be clear about this, right? Because I'm not insinuating that Durk is guilty or nothing like that. All I'm saying is this right here. It don't look good for him. It don't look good. There's too many elements that the feds are putting together, baking that cake, showing that Durk was paying people to kill people. After the video shoot, after the $1 million worth of game interview, after the studio and all that old type of stuff, all of a sudden, these guys are never talking about getting paid from Lil Durk no more. You see? There's no, hey man, tell Lil Durk to pay us. There's no communication between Durk go-to guy and the killers. Not all that ceased after that. You see? So that's how the feds is putting this thing together. But the cold-blooded part of all this is this right here. The guy, Durk's go-to guy, flipped. He's a co-conspirator. He telling on Lil Durk. One of the guys that got caught up for killing Stephon Mack flipped. Yeah, he's testifying against Lil Durk. Putting all the pieces together for the feds. It don't look good for him, y'all. I mean, look, I got to keep it 100, right? And I'm not demonstrating this to try to bash this brother or nothing like that, but we got to understand something. He has to be held accountable, just like everybody else. You see, if you out here in these streets and you ripping and running and you paying people to kill people, come on. Like, it's easy for us to sit back, or for some people to sit back and say, hey, look, man, we got to wait for all the evidence to come out and all that. And I understand that portion right there. But at the same time, if Lil Durk paid somebody to kill your nephew, your cousin, your brother, yeah, we gotta look at it like that. Then you will be like, hey, you want to get your get back on Lil Durk, or you will be like, I want my justice in the courtroom. You see? So this ain't about no, bashing on this brother. This ain't about no, kicking a brother when he's down and all that. All I'm doing is reporting to y'all what the documents say. I'm not guessing. I'm not assuming or anything like that. Everything that I'm unfolding with y'all comes from the federal indictment. This is where this is coming from. I'm not even in Chicago, so I can't know what's really going on like that. This is all coming from the federal government, and not only that, it's coming from the people that Lil Durk trusted. That's where it's coming from. And now they betraying him. You see? Now look, to all the young brothers, the classic brothers, the young sisters, the classic sisters, this is the street life. This how it goes. You laugh, giggle, you have fun. You kill, steal, rob, and destroy the community. And the same people that you commit all this chaos with will be the people to put your ass in jail. That's how it go in the hood. This has been going on way before I even stepped foot in the hood. Way before I even jumped off the porch. And it's going to continue. And the reason why it's going to continue, because you got young men and women who are heavily influenced by this bullshit. They heavily influenced by this gangbang mentality, by this criminal enterprise that, the Durk thing. They are influenced by that because all they see is the glitz and the glamour, the fame, the clout. And kids want that, right? They want to be a part of something. But listen, people don't tell them, hey, look, check this out. Being a part of this, you can die. Being a part of this, you can go to jail for the rest of your life. This is not a beautiful life. Real gangsters, listen to me. People that been in them streets for real, that was blessed to survive. Man, look, they in the house at 10 o'clock. Yeah, come on, because they know what's out there. You see, these type of guys that done survived, myself included, listen, if I go anywhere and somebody raise their voice, I got to get up out of there. Look, I'm not trying to catch nobody bullets or none of that. If it's some gangsters start pulling up and all that, hey, listen, I'm talking about gang bangers. I got to get from around there. You see? So to the young brothers and to the young sisters, listen, learn from what Lil Durk is going through. Everybody he trusted in paying to kill people, it's turning on him. He got a few other friends that really believe in that life that's standing down with him. But look, the trial ain't here yet. You see? And that's how it always happens. The closer that it gets to the trial, people start turning against you. They start flipping. Because the prosecution is telling their defense attorneys, I'm talking about the other guys that are on the case with Lil Durk, the prosecution is telling their defense attorneys, look, we really don't want them, but we gotta send them to prison because of something that they did. But we really want Lil Durk. We want him. And we need their cooperation. For their cooperation, they're gonna do some time, but we're not gonna kill them. But we want to kill Lil Durk because we want to make an example out of him. You see? So yeah, all that trying to be a part of that lifestyle, look what comes with it. Y'all seen Lil Durk with all that money? Yeah, that looks good. You like, damn, this man just pulled out $1 million. You want to be a part of that. You want to be around that because that's all you see. But now you get to see the pain, the misery, and the death that surrounded all this madness. And I gotta say to you young brothers and sisters, and to some of you classic brothers and sisters, in this day and age, in 2026, if you want to be a part of that, you a damn fool. This is hood educated, not lame related. Peace and love, and y'all take care of yourself out there. If I said anything that caused you to think, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And if you're feeling generous, please make a small donation to the channel. If you want to check out another video from Hood Educated, you know, hit the link somewhere around here, hit that thumbnail, and check out the other video that I demonstrated about Lil Durk. Peace and love.